there, it's Lisa T here, and I'm here with the amazing Glen Kellaway. Glenn came up with a terrific idea that we should do a series about our love of the bass guitar and our journey. Hi, Glenn.
Hi, Lisa. Oh, where are you there? Oh, there you are. How are you doing?
When I first saw that, I thought it was a filter. I was like, did he find himself? I said, I want to know where these cool filters are.
Oh yeah, I'm full of tech. I'm such a computer wizard. Yeah, unbelievable. Yeah, so this is going to be fun.
It's going to be so much fun. So I guess this first episode, we're just going to talk about what brought us to the bass, our love of the bass, who inspired us.
That sounds good.
And then we'll have future episodes featuring our favorite bass players and examples of their music, and and who knows what else. Who knows what other antics will ensue.
If anybody has any ideas, questions they have, or anything they'd like to know, or like us to show, or something, comment.
Leave it in the comments. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Drop it in the comments. And maybe sometime down the road we'll do a live show.
Your voice just went again on me.
I'm having a little technical difficulties today. I don't know what I'm wondering if the problem is StreamYard, because this morning I Zoomed with a girlfriend of mine, and we didn't have any problems. So
yeah. Okay, cool.
Maybe that's something for us to look into in the future, is just recording on Zoom.
Yeah, well, we'll let it roll and let's see what happens. You're going to play it back. Yeah. So
yeah. If it's just a little here and there glitches, I think everybody can live with that. But if it's really bad, then we'll have to redo it.
Okay.
But let's hope it's okay. So how long have you been playing the bass, Glenn?
I've been playing the bass for 4 years.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I'm a newbie. I just started.
Yeah. How you're just in your first year, or?
Yes, I am. In fact, I keep telling people 9 months because I lose track of time like that. But my husband just reminded me that it was May that I actually bought this bass. So it really has not been that long.
Yeah, really. Good.
Yeah. So
and how much do you practice? How much time?
I practice about 3 days a week or 4 days a week for about 45 minutes to an hour at a time. I would practice more. I have a little arthritis, and that's actually one of the reasons I started. Is my doctor asked me if I played any instruments other than the piano to help me with my arthritis. And I said, well, I used to play a little guitar. I like knowing how to basically play the guitar, but I never really connected with it. And I thought, you know what, though? I have always wanted to play the bass.
Oh, that's cool.
And on an impulse, I dragged my oldest son down to the guitar shop with me. And they had 2 basses available. And I was like, well, I don't want the 5-string. It's one more note for me to have to mess with, and I'm not ready yet. So I grabbed the only 4-string they had. This beautiful. I named her Ruby. It's the only object I have that's named after a girl. I tend to name things boy names.
Oh, wow.
And my husband accommodates me. He calls my lava lamp Larry. He calls my bag Guillermo.
That's amazing. So are you taking lessons? Did you learn self-taught, or?
I'm taking lessons. I started out with just some instructional videos online. So, shout out to Scott's bass lessons, because man, he's a guy in the UK out of London, and I just sat there and watched all of his videos. I watched several people's videos before I found somebody that I clicked with and could really understand.
Yeah.
And who also keeps their nails clean.
Yeah.
An extra shout out to people who have videos and showing you how to play the piano and guitar and bass and actually clean their fingernails. I can't say anything right now. I dyed my hair yesterday. Underneath my nails are all blue.
Oh, wow. Yeah,
But
YouTube is a wealth of information to learn songs or pretty much any song you want to learn. You just say bass lesson on such and such a song, and there's somebody teaching you how to play it.
it's amazing the things that you can find on there. Everything, and then and then of course Carol K videos.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll talk more about that later. How did you get started playing bass?
Well, I'm a banjo player, and been playing the banjo for like 40 to 45 years, and played in like country rock bands and some bluegrass stuff. And but I mean, I'm a child of the 60s and 70s. That's where I was weaned on music, and that's all, the classic rock era. And so deep down,
Right.
I'm a classic rocker, not a bluegrass guy, although I fell in love with that music somehow. So I
Yeah.
always wanted to play rock music, but you can't really do that on a banjo. So
Uh,
a couple
I'll
years before I retired.
people incorporate it. I've seen some
Yeah,
do
oh
it.
yeah, you can do some. You can do some things, but just you can't. You can only do so much. You're limited, right?
It's not going to be a mainstay in the band, but
Yeah.
it's going to
So
be more like Hot
a
Dog
couple
from
of
Led
years
Zeppelin.
before I retired, I was starting to get kind of bored with the banjo too. I wasn't motivated to play too much, and which was odd for me because I played like hours and hours every day. And I thought I got to do something in retirement, and the banjo seems to be. I'm getting bored with it. What should I do? And so I thought, well, I play a little. I'm like you with the 6-string guitar. I can bang out a few chords and stuff, but I just don't seem to have a passion for progressing with it. And
Right.
I thought, well, maybe I got to. And the other thing I thought is like the one thing about a banjo is like I'm the only banjo player. Like I don't know how many banjo players but you probably know 1,000 guitar players. So
Well, that's true. That's very true. And
it helped me a lot.
I want to play the banjo because of that. And
Yeah.
I tried a few times, and I'm I don't have the dexterity.
Yeah, so it differentiated me from gave me opportunities. If I was a guitar player, I would have been competing with 1,000 others to play in a
Yeah.
band. Something with the banjo, it was like, oh, hey, he's the only guy.
Right.
So,
Exactly.
yeah, so
Exactly.
that's when I was looking for an instrument to play. I thought, what's something that like I don't want to play guitar and compete with all the other rhythm guitar players and lead players. So I thought, I'll try bass. So I rented a bass for a week and brought it home just to see if I would like it. And
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it. I really knew nothing about the instrument in terms of technique or how to approach it or anything. And I just kind of fell for it and thought, yeah, this is cool. So I bought myself a $200 bass and a cheap amp and took lessons and really got infatuated with it and started to get just like completely obsessed. So I was playing like hours and hours every day. And the funny thing is, my wife and I had downsized and moved into a condo.
Oh.
And then I started playing the bass, and playing a bass in a condominium is not good. So we ended up moving into
I
the
can't
house.
imagine. I
Yeah,
have to play down in the basement. If I even play, upstairs, I feel like I'm blowing our neighbors away. And we do live in a pretty good sized house, but it's just so loud.
yeah, yeah.
It's so
So,
loud. Not, it's my nephew wants to play the drums so
oh,
that he can so that he and I can play together.
oh, that's
And
cool.
they,
That'll make some racket.
oh
Yeah,
yeah, that creates some racket.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So anyway, I after a couple of years, I got fairly proficient. I was good enough that I could. I put a band together when I retired, and we had a classic rock band for about a year, and then I had some personal issues with some people and walked away from it, unfortunately. And
And that happens a lot.
yeah, and then I haven't played in a band since, and then COVID hit and everything, and I've found myself more getting back into the love of listening to vinyl and my stereo, And so I've been more listening to music than playing over the last few months, but still pretty passionate about the bass. It's a great instrument.
Oh, I love the bass. I became interested in the bass when I was 15, and I made friends. Of course, I had a huge crush on him, but he was 18 and I was 15, and he thought of me as a kid sister and treated me like a kid sister. But I had such a crush on him. But his name was Vince Dennis, and he actually went on to have a career as a bass player. I mean, he's still playing bass, and actually, he even toured with Ice-T. But he and I
What?
lost touch. Oh, we lost touch. I think I was 17 when we kind of lost touch, and so I don't really talk to him anymore. But yeah, his name's Vince Dennis, and left-handed bassist. And I was visiting with him one day, and I said, "Look, can I try that?" Because I could already play piano and guitar.
Oh, wow.
You know, I took piano lessons starting when I was 7 years old. No, maybe I was, no, I was 5 years old. I was five when I started taking piano lessons. I was seven when I finally have been doing it long enough. My grandmother bought me a really nice piano.
Oh,
And
nice.
so my parents really wanted me to continue to pursue the piano, but even though I was good at it and I enjoyed it somewhat, I just felt like I was looking for something else, and I thought it might be the guitar, but even though the guitar was okay, I wasn't connecting with it. Well, I held his bass, and I'm very right-handed, and he's left-handed, but I so I had to play it with my left hand, and the minute that I started playing, I was like, "Oh my gosh, this is it. This is it. This is what I've been missing."
That's excellent.
And he would let me go over there and play his bass. And he even, he taught me some chords, and uh, and I really looked up to him. And then, but I had a really, not to get into too much detail, but I had kind of a turbulent, I guess, tumultuous, just childhood, and so. I ended up just not really being able to pursue the bass, and then I just kind of went on with my life, and you know survived for the next, and here I am 53, and was like, you know what, I want to play the bass, and I'm going to do it.
Oh, that's
And
great.
I've already done one thing I wanted to do, which is to go back to school. So I'm
Yeah.
like, well, if I can do that, I can certainly, play the bass. So that's what I did. I actually picked this Johnson up for $179.
Wow. That's great.
Yeah. Well, when I called the guitar shop to see what they had before I went down there, because COVID and everything, and you had to make an appointment. You have to, there was like they were only letting one person in the store at a time, so you had to call and like schedule an appointment. And he told me about it. He was like, "You need to get down here today." He said, "Because I just got this Axel Johnson in." He said, "That is just, I love it. It's rad. And if somebody doesn't buy it, I'm taking it home with me." He said, "But I'm selling it." He said, "I'm selling it for only $179." And I was like, "Oh my gosh." I got my son, my husband and I were having to share a car at the time because his car was broken down. And I woke my son up and and had him take me down there. And not only did I buy the bass, I got a gig bag, I got a strap, I bought everything.
Oh,
I'm
cool.
like, I left the store with a tuner. I got everything. And my husband comes home and I'm like, ta-da!
Oh, there you go.
He's like,
Yeah.
he's kind of he's learned to expect the unexpected by now. So
Well, it
I
sounds like
married the right person.
we're both both blessed with spouses that that support our crazy.
That are supportive. It's so important, you
It
know,
is. Yeah.
it's important. People, you know, I don't understand, you know, they attach themselves to a person for the rest of their life, and then they don't want to let them live their life. You
Yeah.
know, this is one life we got. We gotta, you know, gotta give each other that freedom and that trust to explore and, you know, do, you know, I mean, I don't do anything I'm not supposed to do, you know, but I really wanted to play the bass now. I am going to be taking my bass in to get a tune-up, so to speak, and I'm going to have them put flat strings on it.
Okay.
They were supposed to do that before last time, but the guy screwed up and he put rounds on it.
Okay.
And I didn't realize it until I got back home, and then I didn't want to.
Yeah, you don't
you
like
know.
that.
Well, I just keep reading, and you know, I'm wondering if that has something to do with this me not caring much for the tone that I'm getting. But everything I read from Carol Kay says flats. You got to have flats if you want that tone. And I'm like, well, you know, that could be what I'm missing. So
yeah, it's worth a try. Make a difference for sure.
So that's how my bass journey got started, and I want to play it all the time, but unfortunately my hands just won't let me.
Yeah.
So I've been playing it as much as I can, and using these little exercise balls to try to strengthen my hands up so that I can, you know, play even more.
Oh, that's great. Who were, like, before you started playing bass, who were your favorite bass players? Because my whole thought process on the bass has changed so much since I started playing it compared to before I started playing it. I had a totally different bass world in my head.
Right.
Yeah. Who were your favorite bass players at the time?
Well, so of course, you know, you'll hear me mention Carol Kay a million times, but I'm just so impressed with her and her work ethic and how she managed to succeed as a studio musician at a time that, you know, there were women out there in the clubs playing, but not many women were studio musicians at the time. They just they just weren't given the opportunity. Not that they weren't available, they just weren't, you know, things were just it was kind of a boys club and they just weren't allowed in. But somehow she managed, sheer talent. She started with the guitar and then picked up the bass and really clicked with it. So that story kind of resonated with me as well. And and then when I found out that she was the bassist on some of my favorite bass songs, you know, I was like, wow, you know, songs that I loved that I never even knew that she played on. And when I found out, I was like mind blown. You know, These Boots Were Made for Walking, Midnight Confessions. You know, I'm like, wow. And so her, and of course my friend Vince. You know, I used to go around. He was in this punk band, and I really looked up to him because, you know, even at that time, there just really weren't that many women playing bass. There was Tina Weymouth from Talking Heads.
Yeah.
So she's another one that I really looked up to. And Susie Quattro, who I really looked up to, especially that song Can the Can. Oh my gosh, I must have listened to that song 100,000 times. And, you know, playing along with it.
I want to save this discussion for later when we talk about bass players and stuff, but I just want to show you, see if you know this person.
I'm not super familiar with her. Okay. I'm not super familiar with her, but I have heard of her. I watched You know what I know her from? I watched a video that somebody did of their 10 favorite female bassists, and
Yeah,
she was on that list.
amazing musician. Yeah,
I don't know her name, but I
yeah.
recognize her.
We'll talk about her in a later video when we talk about
Yeah,
that stuff.
exactly.
Yeah.
But as far as my my favorite, I looked up to my friend Vince a lot because, I was kind of thinking, should I try to buy a bass and just become a musician? Which I mean, there's probably a good reason why I didn't do it and why it didn't happen for me, and maybe it's a blessing in disguise. But that's kind of where my head was at the time. I thought, oh, I need to get a bass. I need to join a band. Well, Vince was the only black guy in the punk scene at all. I mean, he was also very out of place. And so I thought, well, if he can do it, then surely a girl can do it
Hmm.
as well, And I don't know why I didn't do it. I'm glad because I've got three amazing adult kids. I've got a little granddaughter, um, but I do kind of look back and wonder what would have happened if I would have pursued it earlier,
Yeah.
you know. But at the time, so my favorite bassists were the guy from the Pretenders. He passed away. He passed away, and I cannot remember his name.
Honey
But
Well or something, Honey something or other. Yeah.
I don't remember his name. But
Yeah.
that debut album from the Pretenders. I mean, that's the song "Mystery Achievement."
Yeah, that's a great
Had
album.
that song. Not many times did you really, other than funk music. I mean, in rock
Yeah.
and roll, you didn't often hear the bass front and center like that.
Hmm.
And so I heard that, and I was really blown away. And I feel embarrassed that I don't know his name. I should know his name.
Yeah, I can't.
Probably it'll come. Yeah, it'll come to me later because I do know it. I just can't think of it. But so yeah, he was an inspiration, and I mean, I've already thought ahead to our video about our favorite bassist and examples of songs, so I'm not going to get too much into it,
Yeah.
um, but that was very inspiring to me.
Well, my whole
Um,
bass world was more classic rock guys. Like Jack Bruce was my favorite bass player. If I had to pick a bass player that I liked, and I saw Cream in 1968 at Massey Hall, and he was incredible, right?
so amazing.
He was kind of my
So
guy. And John Paul Jones, of course. When you listen to the Lemon song off of Zeppelin 2,
yeah.
uh,
Oh,
Don
he's
Entwistle.
great.
So it was all those guys.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. The
Barry
Who,
Oakley
yeah,
from the
oh,
Allman
great.
Brothers. I'm a big Allman Brothers fan, and Barry Oakley was an incredible bass player. They were kind of the ones that I thought about when I started playing the bass. And then afterwards, they just got kind of. I was learning all the stuff, and I still love it, but the world just opened up on bass players. It was crazy. So, but we'll save that.
Yeah, we'll save that. We'll save that for later. And I'm especially steering clear of the funk bases because those were the ones that really,
Yeah.
and so
Oh yeah.
I'm kind of steering clear of them. But yeah, there's several that really inspired me. But the ones that I really enjoyed their work, and back when at a time when I first got interested in the bass, I would say for sure Susie Quattro, Tina Weymouth, um, my friend Vince, guy from the Pretenders that I can't remember his
Yeah.
name. He and I know he passed away, unfortunately. Um, I can't believe I can't remember his name.
Yeah.
And then also, who I also loved, was who was and I was just reminded of them during a live conversation that I had in somebody's live stream. I was just reminded of Adam and the Ants and Bow Wow Wow.
Oh.
Well, let me tell you what, though. I'll tell you what, that bass player, I loved it. And
Yeah.
I didn't become obsessed enough that I learned his name and started learning anything about him. but I would blare their albums, and even though the songwriting was really pretty crap, the bass was always on point. It was great.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, that's hey, it's such an
Excuse me.
It's incredible how important it is to a band.
People don't realize it. And that's probably one of the reasons I was really drawn to funk, was because the bass is more front and center, and taken a lot more seriously, it went in funk and old classic soul.
Yeah.
When rock bands, it was all about the guitar and all about the drums.
Yeah.
Even most bands, I mean, only somebody who's interested in the bass is going to know who the bass player is.
That's right.
Everybody knows Eddie Van Halen, okay? But ask people Michael Anthony's name.
Yeah.
Who plays bass?
Yeah.
Of course, in his case, that might be warranted. I never thought he was very good. Controversial opinion there, probably.
Yeah.
There's gonna be somebody pop up. A Michael Anthony fan is gonna pop up.
Well, obviously Eddie didn't think he was that good either. He replaced him with his son, didn't he?
What now? Yeah, he did.
Eddie thought he was.
He did. He sure did. He replaced him with Wolfgang. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. And he's great. Yeah. He's really great. I finally listened to some of their live stuff is on YouTube. I finally listened to some of it, and he actually is really good.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a lot of great ones. So
who are some of your other favorite bassists, and then it'll give us a good segue to the next video.
Okay, so once I started playing bass, I took lessons, and the guy I took lessons off, Tyson, if you're watching this, Tyson and I are buddies, and he's a great guy, an amazing bass player. He's a full-time musician, and he's into funk and all the stuff you like. So he started teaching me some stuff, and that's when I started. Everything just changed for me. Then it was all Motown. Even though I grew up with Motown, it was like the soundtrack of our lives if you grew up in the 60s. I never paid any attention to the Funk Brothers. These guys, the Funk Brothers, all the session guys from Motown.
Oh wow! Oh wow!
So that became
that is awesome. That is awesome.
Yeah, so we can talk about them next. I could go on and on and on about all the funk and the soul, and that's where the bass really shines, man.
I would like to find out what we have to do to be able to play clips of songs. Like I would like to put together just a little, some clips from my favorite bassists, and not get zapped. My live stream from yesterday, I keep expecting it to get taken down because you can hear some music here and there. Not really good because audio wasn't that great, but I did get an email that because I played Sexy Eyes from Dr. Hook, that my video is now banned from people living in Iran, Syria, North Korea, and Cuba.
Oh man, that's terrible. I'm sure all the people in those countries are disappointed they're not getting a chance to see them.
Well, apparently anything that has any kind of, even just the word sexy, they're not allowed to hear on the internet. Can you imagine that? But anyway, I would like for us to be able to play some clips from our favorite bassists next time if we can. So I would like to find out how to do that.
Well,
if we can't, we can always just talk about them and put links to the YouTube videos in the description.
That's what I thought we could do. Yeah, because there are quite a few that I would like to spotlight and let people get a chance to listen to for sure.
So
Yeah.
I think, so what do you want to do? Like a top five? Like we can each
Yeah.
do our top five.
Yeah.
And we, you know, like it's our show, our rules. If you
Yeah.
want one of your top five to be that whole group of Motown, the Funk Brothers,
Yeah.
that's, we can do that, and then, you know, put a link to some of their stuff. But
Yeah.
you know, and I think we are at the 30-minute mark, and
Okay,
I
cool.
good for, you know, for a first time. I think we did okay.
We did okay, I think. Yeah. So thanks everybody who's watching and supporting us.
Yeah, thank you,
Subscribe to
everybody.
Lisa's channel. She's awesome.
Aw,
All right.
thank you. And subscribe to Glen Kellaway. I gotta remember I have to be backwards.
I know I was doing that too. I
Yeah,
was looking at
subscribe to Glen Kellaway from the basement. And we will put a link, of course, to Glenn's channel in the description of this video. And leave us a comment if you have any questions. We'll try to answer them. And you know, all right.
Okay.
I need an outro. I never know how to leave these things. I never know how to leave the video. I
I
feel
was
like, should
gonna say,
I
I
tap
was
dance away?
peace out.
Peace,
Love you.
love you. Bye
Yeah.
bye.
Bye.